Welcome to day 5 of our sew along. Yesterday we put the tie on our quilted piece. You just need to pin it out of the way so it's not going to get trapped in when we sew everything together. We're going to place our quilted piece wrong side up and take our pockets and put wrong sides together. Now if you've got directional fabric, just check that you've got it going the right way. So my hair's, and I've got that the wrong way, so just check when you put them together. So you're going to line all your raw edges up together and then clip or pin. Pinning does slightly distort the fabric and the layers, so if you have got wonder clips or paper clips, it works very well. If you do pin, just be aware, make sure the pins are within the seam allowance so that you're not going to put holes in the vinyl. So once you've pinned it all the way around, we're going to round off the corners on pocket 1. So use a saucer or a dish and you're just going to line up the curve of your whatever you're using onto the corner and then just mark a nice line. Vinyl pen, ballpoint pen works very well on the vinyl. Markers tend not to dry on it. So that gives you just a guide to sew. What we're going to do now is we're going to sew again all the way around the edge, 1/8 of an inch, just like we did before. And again, I'm using my zipper foot just because I can get nice and close to the edge. When you get to the marked line, you want to sew on the line. So just follow the curve around. So once you've sewn all the way around, we're just going to cut our curves off. So you're just going to do it 1/8 of an inch. Nice sharp scissors. Just like that. And that is your finished wrap. Now we're going to make the binding and sew that on. So now we're going to join our bias strips together for the binding. The first one is right side up and the second one goes right sides down at a right angle, and we're going to sew from here to here, and we're going to draw a line across that diagonal, and then we're going to sew actually on the line. I'm going to trim off the excess, 1/4 of an inch roughly. And then we need to press the seam open so it's nice and flat. And the reason for joining binding on the diagonal is to reduce the bulk. So when you come to fold this over for your binding, the seam is evenly distributed, and then when you fold it again, none of the seam bulk is going to be on top of each other. So it's quite a nice way of evening out the bulk. So now you've done one there, so now you flip this one over to the right sides and add another one exactly the same way. right sides up, right sides together on a diagonal. Mark the line. Sew on the line. And again, trim 1/4 of an inch. And press that open. And you want to continue until you've stitched all 5 strips together exactly the same way. So now take one end of your binding, and you need to cut a 45-degree angle going the opposite way to this cut here. So you're going to cut out a triangle and then press over 1/4 of an inch and then press the whole strip in half, wrong sides together. Then to start binding, I'm going to start on the soft pocket edge. I'm going to start about halfway. So that's my end of the binding, and I'm just going to clip that in place. And I'm going to start stitching about 2 inches from the edge, and this leaves us enough room to, when we come round with the binding, to fit it in, to get it nice and flat, and then sew it to complete the binding. I'm going to take just a slightly bigger than 1/4 of an inch seam, just ever so slightly. I'm going to sew 1/4 of an inch up to 1/4 of an inch away from the bottom edge. I've cut my threads, take it out from the machine, and then you're going to fold your binding strip straight up. So you've got a diagonal fold, and then you're going to bring it back on itself straight down, making sure that top bit is completely level with your wrap. And this gives you a nice fold to do a mitered corner when you stitch over your binding to the right side, and then start sewing right at the top again, and then just continue down, again being careful when you go over your teeth. This is a bit more bulk now. I'm just guiding my piece in, I'm not forcing it through, I'm letting the dog teeth do their job. As you approach your corner, just slow down, because you're going to ease your binding in around the curve. So just follow the curve of the wrap, trying not to put any creases into the binding, just do a little bit at a time and change direction. ease it around. And again, repeat for the next corner, just easing it around as you go. And exactly the same for the other square corner. Straight up, straight back down, and then sew about 2 inches. Right, now we're going to join our binding. So lay it over until you've got about 3 inches overlap, and then I'm just going to cut it off. And this piece is going to just lay inside where you started the binding. So just lay it in, make sure everything's nice and flat. And then I'm just going to clip the join. And then you're ready to start sewing again from where you finished to where you started. So now we're slip stitching our binding onto our outer fabric. I'm using wonder clips to hold it in place, and it's just a simple slip stitch, bit of the outer fabric and a bit of the binding all the way around. Fasten off the end. So you can unpin your tie, and that's it, your tool wrap is finished. So now you can fill it with your favourite tools or projects. Fold it up. Tie it up and you're ready to go. Thank you very much for joining us on our sew along. We hope you've enjoyed making your tool wrap. Please send us some photos of your finished project. Thank you. So now we're slip stitching our binding onto our outer fabric. I'm using wonder clips to hold it in place, and it's just a simple slip stitch, bit of the outer fabric and a bit of the binding all the way around. Just going to fasten off the end. So you can unpin your tie, and that's it, your tool wrap is finished. So now you can fill it with your favourite tools or projects, fold it up, tie it up, and you're ready to go. Thank you very much for joining us on our sew along. We hope you've enjoyed making your tool wrap. Please send us some photos of your finished project. Thank you.